how's everybody doing? So I'm on here to talk about my spiritual lesson that I've been learning. Ooh, I know it's probably loud. I'm so sorry because as soon as I start to make the video, the road gets rough, and now it's bringing this. Let me see if I can go in the next lane because this rough concrete, I don't want to have to re-edit this video because that's going to take even longer to download. Anyways, I've been learning some real deep lessons in this last couple days. Okay, it's opened my eyes to some stuff that I realized I've been overlooking. You know, sometimes you get so caught up in life, you start overlooking the deeper meaning as to what's really happening. I need to speed up because these cars are coming around me like they chasing a bat out of hell. I don't want to burn my fuel. It just fueled up, and I don't like to have to keep stopping. I mean, I'm trying to get to my point, but I'm just trying to watch the traffic as well. So let me tell you, yesterday I went to go pick up my rental. I was supposed to pick it up early in the afternoon, get to the wrong place to pick it up, as y'all see in my other video. Ended up staying on the line. It was a nightmare, this particular place. And my feet were swollen, everything, because you know you couldn't sit down. I had to stay on the line for like 2 hours just to find out I was at the wrong place. Had to go to another place. Had to get on that line. That line wasn't as bad, but it was still out the door. That was about an hour and maybe 10 minutes. Finally get the vehicle. Now I gotta wait because I'm in New York, so I gotta wait till the traffic die down before I could get back on the road. So I had to wait a couple of hours just to get on the road. So by the time I got on the road, I'm sleepy. But I got to get this rental to where it got to be by Sunday. I'm driving. I'm like, okay, I might be a little tired, but I could do this. I could push myself. I get to thinking. I look for my ID cards and realize I left majority of my IDs in Georgia. Y'all know I just left Georgia. I'm like, God. So I left my TWIC card, my Social Security card, and my green card, my alien registration card, and one of my credit cards. And it was in a particular wallet. I usually leave certain type of ID cards separate from my everyday cards. So evidently, when I was packing, I didn't realize I left it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this. Make a long story short, I had to reroute myself, so now I gotta go stop in Georgia right quick to pick it up, then get back on the road. Basically, I'm gonna have to take another half a day extra with this rental. But what it got me to really focus on is when I realized that I had made that mistake. I said to myself, there's a lesson there's something else I want to say, but I can't say it yet. I don't want to offend anybody, but there's a lesson in what was being thrown at me. One of the things that we realize is we're mini creators of our own existence. God is the ultimate creator, but he gave us enough power to create and destroy, right? Where these people come from? Like, I turned around, it was like 1 or 2 cars. Now it's like 50 cars. I'm trying to make this video but not get distracted at the same time. I'm a very careful driver. I don't like being distracted. Anyways, we're able to recreate, you know what I'm saying? And what I learned with all of these obstacles and roadblocks and things like that is that my energy, my consciousness is not clear. It's not clear. It's not. All that drama that happened to me, what was it? It's been a couple weeks now. Almost, a month now? Time flies, doesn't it? When me and my ex broke up and all that drama happened and stuff like that, even before that situation happened, I had a lot of blockages going on. A lot of things were coming and becoming obstacles in my consciousness, not just in the actions of my life, but just in general. And because I was doing good, I was creating, when you're creative, I'm gonna get to my point. I'm just trying to, y'all know how I do. I'm a slow burner, and then I get there. You feel me? Now it's boring. A lot of things trying to distract me. What I realized is I had to clear my consciousness, and I didn't know what. I kept trying to figure out what was going to clear my consciousness as far as self-doubt, like the worrying. We as humans, we worry and stuff like that, but sometimes it gets to the point where it blocks you. When it gets to that point, that means what you're doing is you're creating your hell for yourself, creating hell. And now you have to redirect yourself and create heaven. And you say, well, how do you do that? Well, this is just one of the ways I figured it out. What Allah was doing was he was sending, I don't want to say calamities, but he was showing me, oh, you want to complain about this being difficult? Well, let me show you how difficult it can get. Let me show you how much more trouble you can get. When you get into that extreme trouble, where it's like, you feel like it's a calamity, you're like, oh my goodness, could things get any worse? You notice the things that was bothering you before no longer becomes important. So all the little things I was worrying about, like, my next, my bill, why did my ex do me like this? Why did he hurt me? Like all the things that was going through my mind, that month of trying to heal and trying to figure things out, and what's my next move? How long is it going to take me to finish school? Why do I keep delaying? My mind was going a mile a millisecond. Okay, I know that don't make sense, but it was going a mile a minute. So I was like, what is it going to take to clear my daggone mind? And boom, something like me leaving all my valuable ID cards. And the reason why it was like, because I thought I left it on the plane. To replace an alien registration card is like over $600. Then to get a social security card all over again, that's a pain, because you got to have 2 pieces of ID. And it's like, well, that defeats the purpose if you lost the ID. So all of these things is going through my mind like, damn, is my life trying to fall apart before my very eyes? No, what I realize is Allah is telling me you need to start restructuring your life to match the thought process of heaven. Stop recreating hell after hell after hell after hell. So when that situation came up, I was thinking about it last night. I couldn't even go to sleep. I'm thinking. I'm like, where did I leave that damn card? So I just said a prayer. I said, Allah, I need you to help me focus. Something is blocking me. I don't know what it is, but I just need you to help me focus. If you could just reconfirm, let me know what I need to do. So it was discovered that it is in Georgia. I got the phone call, hey, found your cards, it's in Georgia. So I'm like, that was a relief. All the problems that was harassing me all month, bothering my mind, it just instantaneously went away last night when I had a bigger fish to fry. I was like, wow. I was really sitting here worrying and reminiscing and just overworking my brain for stuff that I can't even control. For stuff that, in the big scope of things, it ain't really stopping my life. And I realized we create our own heaven and hell. This planet has been around, I don't even know, to be honest with you, but scientifically they're saying probably 1 billion years. Humans, probably about 60 million years. Well, at least the last half of the Homo sapiens, and then they had the Neanderthals, Well, we basically evolve into different species is what they're saying. So they're saying these species been around way before us on the planet. So what does that tell you? A lot of religious people, and there's nothing wrong with religion, because religion brings discipline, it brings enlightenment, it brings structure. But we can't get stuck in just that. We got to get awareness. We got to get to the point of understanding, to the point of wisdom. Because if you don't get to that point of understanding and wisdom, all you're going to be doing is blind following everybody else. You got to have a mind of your own to that point where you understand, because this journey is a self journey. You came in this world through a portal by yourself. You're going to leave this world by yourself. So wouldn't it be incumbent upon yourself to understand what it's all about before you can really do anything else in life, in helping anybody in general? So that's what I've been really, I know I say that a lot to you guys, but a lot of times, every day you learn more and more. You get more and more insight. And the things that's been bothering me since all that situation and drama happened in my life in the last month or whatever, it made me do more, deeper, inner self-reflection. And that's what it's all about. This journey is about creating. That's what you're here to, that's what you were put on earth for, to create. It's an experience. You're not supposed to just do. You're supposed to be experiencing it. And within that experience in it, you're supposed to be grabbing onto insight and understanding. So when we're talking about like good versus evil, if you notice, people that really get it, that are evil, they're actually going through the experience, and they're going through the full depth of that experience of becoming evil to conquer the mastery of being evil. But when you have like people that are lost, or they consider themselves good, but they don't really have no direction, as soon as something bad happens, or as soon as things don't go their way, they ready to throw in the towel and say, heaven doesn't exist. This world sucks. What am I doing here? And that's like a self-defeating purpose. You're not living your purpose. So your purpose at this point is, even when you're going through the calamity or going through something that is making you feel like, damn, why me? Understand, it can be worse. You be like, well, how can worse get any worse? Worse can get as worse needs to get for you to snap out of it. Whenever they want somebody, there's this thing where it's called scared straight. If you want somebody to quit smoking, or you want someone to forget about a loved one that passed away or something like that, let's say they get stuck. It's called, what's that word? Not stuck energy, but it's called, it's a word where you get stuck in the stage and you don't progress past a certain stage, right? I can't remember. It's not really arrested development, but it's similar to that. There's a program where they can make something way more worse than what you've been through to scare you out of the situation you think is bad. So they had this show, I think it was a movie or a show a couple years back, and people were getting sent to this place. It was like a kidnapping, like a fake kidnapping. And they would take the person to this fake place or some type of cabin and scare them almost half to death, where they think they're about to get chopped up or beat up or unalive, whatever. And when they were able to conquer the experience, meaning they think that they got away from the fake killer, they don't know it's fake, they don't know it's staged, but it was to put them in such a fear that they call it scared straight. Now you're not even thinking about the smoking or whatever was boggling you down, because now you got a bigger situation going on, and you realize, in comparison to the situation that you are about to, face, that other situation was just a walk in the park. Or if you ever hear a person, they talk about, let's say you might have had a bad relationship, and then they go and tell you about their relationship, and you're like, oh, that's horrible. You went through what? you realize, well, damn, my situation ain't all that bad. That's what some people might say, right? It's all about perspective. Like life is relative. So when you think of life in a more pure organic, or like an organic stance, meaning like you're going back to where it all started, you look at things differently. Like you look at the biology of stuff. Because that's where we all started. We actually all started in biology. Human biology. We all came from a message. And that message got transported through a neuron. That neuron, I'm not going to go into the science of it, but neurons transport information through a synapses in the brain. And those synapses, they do like a pulsating move, and they create electricity throughout your body. So your body is a big ass electrical magnet. So it all goes back to biology. So if you were created from a thought, and all of this was created, the magnificence of who you are, you don't think you can do the same by creating your own situation, your own magnificence? This is what it's all about. So you might experience something bad, but it doesn't have to stay that way. So like, let's say a person come out of prison. They want to sit up there and stay in that stagnant emotional, what is that word I'm looking for? It's like an emotional stuck of pain, regret, guilt. It's like, why are you doing that to yourself? Recreate yourself. Recreate your own heaven. Okay, you did the time, you went to prison, or okay, you cheated in a relationship. Okay, you did some bad things. Okay. That's what life is about. You do bad, you experience something. Okay, you know what? That wasn't the best thing. And sometimes if you look at life in a biological standpoint, you realize sometimes what you think is bad is really just a perspective. You might be with a person that is not on your type of time, and because y'all didn't get along, you say, well, that's a bad person. Maybe they just wasn't on your time. Maybe they just didn't get the memo enough at your timing. So y'all just not on the same heaven. They created their own hell. Sometimes you gotta let people stay in their own prison. If a person creates their own mental prison, that's not your cross to bear. Even Christ was saying it on the last day of his life. Can you pass this cup? God, I don't know if I could do this. This is just too much. Even the people in the Bible was like Moses. He was like, you sure you want me to save these people? Because they're not listening to me. I literally parted the Red Sea for these people, and they just don't want to do the right thing. And God was like, that's not your cross to bear, Moses. I already told you. Just follow what I'm telling you. And if the rest of them don't want to follow, continue the journey. And Moses took it on himself, and he internalized that pain of those people. And it wore on his psyche and created a hell for himself. He was always miserable. He was always angry at God. Like, why is this happening? Why is this not working? Why are we not getting the land of milk and honey? And he's like, God is like, because y'all keep sabotaging yourselves. Y'all are literally creating your own hell. Sometimes the journey of heaven is required for you to do it by yourself first. And whoever wants to join, you create your own circle of paradise. That's what heaven is. We all have pockets of our own paradise. Your paradise might not match another person's paradise. It probably wasn't meant for you to be in that situation. You may not like ice skating. You may not like going out to the park. That's not your paradise. You might like just sitting at home, watching the birds. You see what I'm saying? It's a consciousness mindset. So you would connect to heavenly consciousness mindset people when you become committed to the journey. But what happens is we get into this hero mindset. Not all of us. I speak for myself sometimes. You get into this hero mindset. which is the Superman. You put on the cape for everybody else, and you're trying to create the heaven above all heavens. That's not your job. Your job is not to go around, like if you ever watch the show with like Spider-Man or what's his name, Superman. He be having one mission. The mission is to go do such and such and such. And on his way to go save this particular situation, he'll hear like a little voice in the corner, help me. And it's some idiot that got stuck in a building because they wasn't on their journey properly. They wasn't creating their own heaven. So they got stuck in a particular hell. And they calling for help. He, meanwhile, got to go on his own journey to finish that one mission, but then somebody else is pulling his coattails, pulling on his consciousness. So now he stops the journey to go help somebody else. And throughout the whole series and movies of all these heroes, they're always overly exerting their energy to create other people's heaven. And they end up sucking the life out of themselves, and they die in a state of hell and chaos. So we're still, as humans, we're not getting the memo. We're not getting the message. The message is to create your heaven, and whoever else wants to follow on the journey, it will consciously become a collective consciousness. My lips are getting dry. Hold on. So when I was having all these difficulties that's happening to me, excuse me, I realized part of it is because I'm too focused on trying to over control the yin and the yang. Where there's good situations, there's going to come bad. And I'm so focused more on the bad, determining the bad as the ultimate leader of the outcome. When the bad is just another situation to get you to another level, meaning maybe smarter, meaning another level of a lesson, meaning just another level of clearing your toxic mind, which is the scared straight strategy. Sometimes Allah will send his angels. You gotta remember, there's over 700 million angels in heaven, okay? And they all have an assignment. It ain't just God up there just doing it. He has a whole army of people trying to get us to understand the power that is within us. Now, this power, it can't be channeled. I was like, why are these cars going so slow all of a sudden? I realized the speed limit went down. Let me tell you, I was channeling Allah earlier, and I was trying to pass this box truck. When I say channeling, I was praying, I was meditating on Allah's word, right? And I went into the next lane, didn't realize I was going a little bit fast, just to get around this box truck. Boom, freaking Popo. This is in Virginia, you know. Popo come out through the bushes, the lights on and everything. I said, whoo, child, I'm about to get a ticket on my way back onto the truck. That's not a good look, right? And I just slowed down. I continued meditating and channeling Allah. Went right past me. Changed his mind. And then he was like looking for somebody else to pull over. We found a car, pulled over. And right when he pulled over that car, the sheriff comes out and look at my car like, I'll let you get away this time. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's all energy. This whole universe and in all the realms, it is all energy. Never forget that. We sit up here and we focus on money too much. That's one of our main problems. We focus on money too much. But pre-pandemic, as I made a couple videos before, pre-pandemic, the powers that be was already plotting on our heaven and hell. Okay? They realized that we were so dense that all they had to do was keep extrapolating data from us. So when they started making you buy, when they put everybody on curfew, and they making you buy stuff on Amazon, and you're creating all these new websites. What some people that don't really do computers don't realize is, I don't remember what year it was when the iCloud was created, but it took all your data out of hard drives. So, how you say? I'm not a computer engineer, but I did learn a course in IT, like one little course, about 4 weeks. And when they created iCloud and Microsoft and all of that, right? iCloud allowed your data to go global. Because before, now if your computer geniuses is watching this video, maybe y'all could correct me a little bit. But I know like before, how should I explain this? Before, when you would get on a computer, your information, in order to store it, you had to get a USB chip, right? What do you call it? USB drive. And you had to insert it into the computer, which is called a hard drive. Anything that's external. No, am I saying it right? Well, anyways, it was an external drive. And you had to take the information that you just typed up or looked up online or whatever. In order to save that data, you had to have something to save it on. Whether it was a folder from the internal drive or the hard drive or an external drive, right? Now, they're creating software. One of the software's name is iCloud. One of the other softwares was Microsoft. But Microsoft, I don't think Microsoft was really super global, if that makes sense. But iCloud is now on the web. Now iCloud is on the World Wide Web, if that makes sense. So now your information, when you type everything you type in, that's why they're asking you for all these privacy. When you get on the computer now, it asks you, do you want us to access your cookies? Do you want us to access your advertising? Can we send your information to advertising? When you do that, you open yourself up to all these billions of companies worldwide to clone you through AI. You have what I'm saying? It allows the companies to continue to clone us. You're looking for a human physical clone. It ain't gonna be no physical human clone. It's gonna be that damn AI copying everything you say and everything you do. So between pre-pandemic, that's when they started really getting into your business. You had to download password after password, and you had to update passwords every 30 days because they need to know who you done slept with, who you used to live with, where was you born, who's your favorite auntie, what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food. They need to know all of that because they're finna clone us. Okay? So now, once they clone you, they can now create. There's a lot going on here. I just feel it's like a lot of energy right now. There's a lot of cars, a lot going on. Popo, ambulance. So I just need to pay attention. These AIs is creating a collective conscious on the planet. Collective consciousness is very, very powerful. When you have collective consciousness, you can channel people. So you ever say like you wake up in the morning and you're just in a good mood. You could just feel the energy permeating from you. You done got the energy from the rays, from the moon last night. Now you woke up to the sun. It's just mad electricity vibration going through you. You wake up like, phew, I could conquer the world today, right? And with that energy, you pick a vibrant color. You're like, you know what? I think I'm going to do some, y'all know my favorite color is teal green. But let's say you, oh, look at my little towel. Or you say, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna put on my pink shirt today, my bright pink shirt. You thinking you the only person that felt good that morning. And what happened? You go outside and almost everybody and their mama got on pink. You think that was a coincidence? Sorry, I keep looking down and up. You think that was a coincidence? No, we are collectively, how you say, connected. Collectively through our conscious. That's what heaven and hell is. It's a collective consciousness. Energy transference. That's basically what it is. You transfer your energy when you leave this realm. These Christians, not all of y'all Christians, but some of the Christians, y'all go through this lack of biology and scientific thinking where you think everything is black and white. It's just, the Bible is just this verbatim. No, it's parables. It's read between the lines. So Christians think it's just going to be this big white chariot miraculously come out to heaven. It don't work like that. The same way Allah made neurotransmitters that go through your brain milliseconds to send powerful signals that could be life or death. This is all biology. Same thing. When these energy transfers, it doesn't just come out like a big situation. So when you leave this planet, your energy needs to be in a good place, because it's going to transfer somewhere else. Your energy transfers, your consciousness transfers. So like, for example, I have vivid dreams of people in my family that has passed away, from my sister, my grandma, and then I see people that I don't even know. Could be people that knew me, I don't know. But it's powerful. My dreams be powerful. So when my sister comes in my dream, I could see her physical body, because my mind can't wrap around the spirit realm to see anything. So I have to visually picture my sister in the physical body that I remember before she left this planet. But when she speaks to me, it's telepathically. She doesn't open her mouth and talk. I could just feel what she's saying to me. I could feel when she's giving me a message. That's energy. That's why they say non-verbal communication is the most important communication, because you have to pick up on visual cues. Even people that can't see can understand non-verbal communication. For example, if a person is blind and they know you, let's say it's a family member, and they can tell you're upset, and you're like, how did you know? You can't even see me. It says, I felt you. Something was off. I just felt you wasn't talking the way you normally would talk. I'm telling you, energy tells it all. That's why sometimes you could not like a person, don't know why, or you just feel something about this person, you don't know what it is, and you find out down the line they have all kind of shit going on, and you're like, I knew it was something off about that situation. It's your instinct reading on the energy. And that's what I feel humans are missing. So let me get back to my other point, because it's a lot of things that I want to say, and I don't be having a whole lot of time to make separate videos. But the plan of the government is to make us feel like we can't succeed without money. But what they have realized is they can, right? There's no money on this planet. It's just a bunch of fake shit. However, they made us feel like we had to worship the almighty dollar to survive. But if you notice, when people become celebrities, they don't use money anymore. They use their power, their influence to get things. People just come up and give them things. They give them sponsorships. They give them gifts. They give them homes. Just because the influence and the knowledge that they might know. This is what it's about. You'll have people, they'll have a vision. The vision could be so powerful, and just based off of the vision alone, the thought of the vision, the creativity of the vision can make them super powerful. Police officers, they don't make a whole lot of money, but why are they so much feared? Not just because of the fact that they be unaliving people, but they're a force to be reckoned with. They have collectively come together, and they call them the blues, right? Whatever, right? So it's like sort of like a gang mentality in a way, but it's like they can get sponsorships, they can get gifts, neighbors be coming and bringing them things to the precinct. That's what it's about, the data. And I've been trying to tell people that if you don't understand, you got to get on data. What do you know? What can you create? That is where your heaven and hell lies. You have to figure out, what is your heaven? What is your mission? What are you good at? Hold on. Let's see. Police is ahead. Police is ahead. Let me slow down. I gotta use the restroom anyway. I might need to pull over. What they're doing with these AIs is they're going to create another portal that's going to open up, because you got to remember, everything in life is matter. So they've created enough matter based off of our based off of our thoughts. That's why they're always asking you a bunch of questions on the phone. As soon as you open the phone, is, what did you do today? How many steps did you take today? What did you eat today? Let me show you this new outfit you could wear today. It's just so much overload of information and strapping more and more information from you that you don't even think for yourself anymore, right? You can go to the same place over and over, but you still feel like you need to put the GPS on. We have become machine trained to feel not even interdependent, but totally dependent on machines. And they've been telling us this for years in these movies. These machines have the capability of tapping into your energy and extrapolating your energy to create a new portal of hell. Hell is right here on earth. Heaven and hell is right here on this planet. We keep waiting for this big magical being to come out of the sky. No, it's a collective consciousness. Now, I'm not God. I'm not saying I know everything. But for the 50 years that I've been on this planet, I've been able to start putting two and two together and seeing the generations after the generations after the generations, their consciousness keep getting cycled out, recycled. Some gets siphoned into change a cycle, renew a cycle, fix a cycle, continue a cycle, but it's all a mother effing cycle. They bring in generational curses in. They taking generational curses out. What do you think this is all about? So what you have to get to where we're at as humans is we're too dense right now, especially with the amount of stuff that we have been introduced to. We should be so much more powerful than we are today. That's why in the Bible it says, the more wisdom on the planet, the dumber the people get. It's just right there in your face. What you see going on is just right there in your face. The buffoonery, the women, the men, it's a bunch of nonsense. The kids, you had this one girl twerking on an SUV, and they said I didn't even watch the video. I saw the title and I was like, this is just more confirmation as to where we're heading. She was twerking on the SUV while the SUV was going full down the highway. They said she fell off and I guess she got smashed unalive, right? Where did you think you could go in an SUV moving at full speed and be able to do something like that? Like this is what I'm saying. It's like the AI has controlled the minds of the people. It's a collective conscious now. You can't even fight it no more. We don't need the people that are really understanding how to create their own heaven. We can't worry about these people no more. Don't be the Superman and the Spider-Man and the people trying to run in the building, the burning building, and then you never get to see your paradise because you thinking, oh, well, maybe they'll be grateful that I came and helped them in the burning building. They won't. You see how they did Moses? Well, people that read the Bible, you see how they did Jesus? You see how they did Prophet Muhammad? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They poisoned him. The same people, I think it was one of his family members, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a division in Islam where they wanted to become Shiite versus the Muslims. Versus the Sunni Muslims. And it became this big division and big wars over who would carry on the lineage of that particular religious belief system. So that's what I'm saying. It's not really about money and riches. It's about what can you bring on this planet that is going to be able to evolve into something dynamic that can be utilized for generations to come. If you can get on that type of time, you're a powerful mother. Okay? So a lot of people don't even tap into that because they're so dense and boggled down by a water bill or a cheating boyfriend that they can't think past the bullshit. If you focus on what really matters, which is creating your own heaven, those type of people eventually, even if they try to come in your life and they stay for a short amount of time, they won't survive because the energy and the enlightenment that you would come with, they won't be able to stand that energy. It'll be too, I don't want to say too powerful, but it just won't vibe with them. You'll be too difficult, or they'll call you, oh, you just too difficult, or you just too much. You just too much. You ever thought about if you gotta call somebody too much, maybe you too little? You ever thought about that? So instead of getting offended, like, oh my gosh, maybe I need to dumb myself down, or maybe I need to not be so powerful, what you're doing is you're snapping and changing your reality. You're breaking that energy cycle. You need that electricity to keep going. You need that fulfillment. So it's a constant energy. Don't never stop it for nobody. It's a constant energy. So sometimes these dynamics, these dilemmas come into your life to wake you back up into your power, to wake you back up into understanding this is not the end all be all. There is more to come. I need you to be able to conquer this so that I can release something else that's even better, so that you can create your heaven. It's not going to come just like 1, 2, 3. You got to creation comes from a foundation. It starts from somewhere. What do you think? Just boom, bam, boom, that's it? No, it's more to it than that. And a lot of people don't want to do the work because they don't believe in themselves. They only believe in what's right in front of them at that very moment. And they don't realize anything can switch at the drop of a beat. So now what you're saying is that your happiness and your fulfillment is based off of each change that comes into your life. You're creating yourself a mental illness. So people that are powerful, whether they're good or bad, right? Their obstacles don't stop the mission. So like you see, like you said, those heroes, you know, they trying to save these people and they get away from the mission. And then when they finally get to the mission, they're so tired and boggled down and drained from everybody trying to cipher their energy. And they never see their own paradise. They just end up passing away tired or bitter. That's not what you're supposed to do. And then they say, well, just keep praying, keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. One of the reasons why you pray, now this is not to just say to worship. We get that part, right? But one of the reasons why you pray is to refulfill yourself. So when you get depleted, for example, like let's say you're in a relationship and it's very fulfilling, right? Which is rare these days. But let's say you're in a relationship and it's very fulfilling. That person pour into your cup, you pour into that person's cup. When life gets you boggled down and you know that you got somebody you can go to get that reverence from, they're gonna love you, they're gonna pour into you, they're gonna tell you you got this, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the haters, or you got that promotion, babe. You know you've been studying, or whatever. They just really believe in you. That refills that power. You may get zapped from the challenges that come along, right? So that is one of the main reasons why we pray, to refill our power. You say, hey, you know, God, these people, they really sucking the life out of me. I'm starting to get down on myself, and I know that you didn't create me for this. You didn't create me to be down on myself. You created me to be a powerful being on this planet, to represent what you are about, the greatness that you are about. I need you to refill that feeling in me, Lord. I need you to refill and let me know everything gonna be okay. And when you do that and you meditate on those words, in the Bible it says meditate on those words, you get a newfound look at things. And sometimes you need to see that. Another thing, and this is no shade against Christians, but it's the indoctrination that pisses me off, right? Here come the popo again. They just all over the place on a Saturday evening. Since Lexington County, racist county. I used to live in Columbia, South Carolina. Anyways, but that's why I was stationed when I was in the military. There was something I was about to say. Oh, the indoctrination of religion. I was telling people, religion, I don't technically let religion control me. It doesn't mean I don't believe in Islam, or it doesn't mean I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in indoctrination. When you're talking to people that don't know the difference in what I'm trying to say, it's hard to get them to understand what I mean, right? The indoctrination is when you take the good of the religion and you turn it narcissistical. Why is this cop, who's he following? Everybody's on this. Oh, he pulled somebody else over behind me. I'm not speeding, but they find any reason to pull you over these days. I don't look at the indoctrination to control how I think about life, because me being raised with a father that was completely religious, he was completely indoctrinated, but he wasn't completely indoctrinated. I take that back. He really understood that Bible. And when he came to this country from Trinidad, he came to New York City. He tried to, he was a pastor. He became a pastor in a church. They let him talk to the people, but they didn't like what he had to say. He was too raw, too real. He was talking about the revelation too much. And then he was talking about like the original people, like the Genesis, when there was like wars on the land and we really had to be about that life. But they didn't want to hear about that. They want to hear about the kumbaya and just talk about Jesus. Just talk about how Jesus is going to forgive us and we can go home and Jesus is going to pay our bills. No. Even in Islam, they did not say that you can just totally dominate the woman and she can't have a brain for herself. They just be taking these religions and just running amok with it. And then when people rebel or they just, give up on God, it's because they don't realize if you were indoctrinated. You were indoctrinated. Because when you look at the hadiths, that thing will scare you. It talks about the demons. They call them jinns. It talks about how the jinns wait in the bathroom. You ever get in the bathroom and it be dark? If for some reason you just feel chills on your spine, but you don't feel chills on your spine when you go in the kitchen? Why is that? It's because the jinns, they eat the dung that come out of your booty hole. That's how they survive. That's how they can get close to you, because you didn't invite them into your soul. So the closest they can come to you is by eating your waste. All these type of jinns are assigned to us in this realm. You got jinns that fall in love with you. The Bible talks about them. The fallen angels, the Anunnakis. They talk about it in the Quran, in the Hadiths. Why nobody talk about that when they talk about religion? Why nobody talk about it when you hear it online? Because they want to pretty coat everything and make it sound like, oh, just listen to how we tell you to follow the rules. But it's more to it than just rules. Why not explain the philosophy of it? Of the forces that you're fighting, the forces that are going to come around you, good and bad, that's going to beat you down, the voices that come and tell you you're nothing. Why we don't talk about that? Why we don't talk about the biology of how a voice, a sound can get into your brain and become a part of your DNA? Why nobody talks about that? Why nobody talks about the effect of sound? So when you're sleeping at night and you hear these deities coming and they talking in your ear, telling you all kind of stuff. What do you think a wet dream is? All these things are coming into your space, into your private areas, and trying to, possess you. Any which way, tempt you, possess you, get you to cheat on your wife, cheat on your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever. But that's their mission, to create chaos so that you can create hell on this planet. That is the mission. So you're not the only one with a mission. So now the government, the powers that be, they get that. They understand that we are powerful beings. But they have to dumb us down, and we don't tap into that. They dumb us down with obstacles and social media and distractions and music that will bring density to you. You ever hear those African beats or those type of beats that just, it does something to your soul, like more on a powerful spiritual realm? And you feel like you about to awaken something in you that you ain't never knew was there? That's why they don't let those type of situations happen too much on social media. Because they know once we get on that type of time with those type of beats, we're going to end all this dysfunction on this planet. The racism, the sexism, the pedophiliaism, all of that will be ended. Because like they say in the Hadith, the shaitan was the bringer of music. But now he's the bringer of temptation. The same thing in the Bible. They call him Lucifer. He was the angel of music at one point. Had the most beautiful voice in heaven. He used to call the Edon. The Edon is like the morning sun or whatever. The call to prayer. I didn't mean to say the morning sun, but in technicality, they were saying he would call the rising of the sun for people to come out and worship. This was his main mission. But he was one of the angels that had free will. Because they say, well, that angel, they're not supposed to have free will. Look, Allah does what he needs to do, and when he wants to do it, how he wants to do it. So he created that particular angel with a free will. And the dominion of those angels had free will. And at one point, he was completely dedicated to calling on God for deliverance or guidance. But that wasn't enough. He wanted more power. Power can be insatiable when you look at it as a win-win over somebody else. Instead of focusing on yourself, you focus on what other people's power look like in comparison to yours. Don't ever do that, because now it turns into wickedness. Focus on your own self-reflection, because your power may take a different course or may take a longer time, because you may have a higher purpose. So he may not grant you that power overnight, because the amount of power he might need from you might be too overwhelming at the amount of level you're at this moment. You might need to get to the level of mastery first. But some people want that power immediately, and then they abuse the power. Like half of these men out here. You get a power, and you start power tripping, and you turn the whole planet against each other. These men use aggression, and they control the planet in the wrong way. When that aggression was supposed to be a mastery. You're supposed to do powerful things with that. But you utilize it to bring fear on the planet and open up the portals of hell. This is not for all the men. I'm talking about like these powerful men, like the ones in power and the ones that take people's children and do ungodly things with them. And you can't tell them nothing. It's like, who gonna check me? Now they got the women following suit. They put them in power. Who gonna check me? I'm gonna do whatever I want to whoever I want. And then they wonder how narcissism was created. It was created because we never opened up the portals to heaven. We allowed hell to reap its ugly head, and it's continuing, and it's going to be a cycle for generations to come. We have created a vicious cycle in this generation, not us personally, but we contribute to it because we don't do nothing about it. We just fall for it. So now the generations and generations to come, it's probably going to be 4 generations before they can flush this toxicity of hell that we created here. The praise of the almighty dollar, the praise of vanity, the praise of hurting people's children. We have promoted that here in this planet. We have an ugly price to pay for that. So now the AI is creating its own collective consciousness, which is going to reap even more hell on this planet. This AI got people doing crazy stuff. This is what's happening right now. So at this point, we got to get the memo. The people that understand what I'm talking about, because not everybody that has an ear is going to listen or hear. But if you have an ear to hear what I'm trying to say, you're going to understand what I'm saying. We're living in some real destructive times. This is the time to focus on creating your heaven. This is your chance before you leave this planet to get your consciousness right. Because when it leaves this realm, you want to be able to know that it's going to go into a safe spot, a safe place. Because the people that don't make it into the safe place and their consciousness is boggled down by guilt, shame, fear, wickedness, they either retransform that energy and become a ghost, or they retransform that energy and they create the same chaotic mess over and over and over into a karmic cycle. But if you don't want that, you need to end all bullshit on this planet. Get your mind right, get your consciousness right, before it gets transferred to the next realm. Because it doesn't end here. But this is where this realm is the creation of what you want to happen. Allah has given us the power to create. How do you want this script to look before you leave here? Whatever you create here is what it will be. So they say, well, what is hell? Hell is what you create. If you created a life full of sin and you didn't want to get your mind right, that's what you're going to recreate. It's just going to be karma, overliving and overliving. Now, how does that overliving look? I don't know. I'm not God. All I know is that energy does not die. So would it maybe, if you didn't get it right, maybe you now have to watch your generation go through turmoil after turmoil, and you just be, how you say, it's like a television, and you just watch a part of you just constantly doing the same crap. That could be your hell. That could be your hell. That's why I had to go back and recreate my motherhood to my kids. I had to go back and apologize for every pain I caused their children. Anytime I yelled at you, anytime I abused you, that wasn't called for, that wasn't justified, because I didn't have my mind right. I had to go back and apologize to those children, to recreate their mind, their consciousness. And that's what you are in covenant to do before you leave this planet. You better get it right. If you hurt somebody, and I've hurt people in my past, and the people that I could reach, I apologize. It's not on me to make you forgive me, but it's on me to at least extend the olive branch. And that's what it's about. And even to my haters, if y'all are watching, if I ever said anything that hurt y'all, I'm sorry. I don't want no wickedness coming my way because of something I created. Whether it was intentional or unintentional. But if it was something that I created, meaning I could have done better, I could have seen better, I could have been wiser at my choices or my decision making, I'm going to recreate that to make it purposeful for my heaven. If you get a shabby apartment and you recreate it to look like a penthouse, that's you. That's what you did, right? So at the end of the day, somebody can't come and say, oh, this is a crappy apartment, or this is a crappy house, or this is a crappy car. If I created that car, recreated it, and you still calling it crappy, you're just a hater. And that's what happens when you start creating your own heaven and people still want to put you in a box and say that you're not allowed to recreate yourself or rebrand yourself after the mistakes you made. They're just a hater. They're mad that you're powerful enough to understand your wisdom to be able to recreate. You don't have to wait for another billion years for heaven to come down on here. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care how unattractive you might think you are. It doesn't, that means nothing in the scope of the game. Because to your attractiveness, maybe to somebody else's unattractiveness. They may find you unattractive. It's all about you and what you think. You create that for yourself. You create that version for yourself. Does that, you see what I'm saying? You got to be able to say, I'm the one in charge of this situation. But of course, you get the guidance from Allah. I'm not saying you go up in there and say, oh, I know everything and I'm cocky and confident. So, forgive me for mentioning, seek first the guidance from God. Because if you go seeking it from Shamika or John or Pam, you don't know if they're coming from a self-righteous standpoint or a self-hatred. You know how sometimes you join these cults and then you find out the cult member never liked people or some shit, or was trying to get everybody to take a poison pill at the end of the whole mission was to get everybody to unalive themselves. Some craziness like that. And the whole time you following this person thinking they had your best self-interest. Like, what in the world? That's why you got to follow God. God's not going to lead you the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? He's going to send you calamities to wake you up to your own power. And then once you continue to get the lesson, he's going to make you more and more powerful. You're going to keep rising to that level of queendom or kingdom where you belong. And I'm rising to my level of queendom where I belong. I'm ready to take the throne. But I can't take it. It has to be granted to me. And the only way it's going to be granted to me is when I understand the usefulness of my power. Now it's time to utilize my power to create. But I first have to go inward. That's why a lot of these prophets they spend time alone. Excuse me, I gotta drink something. That's why some of these prophets, they have to spend time alone, because they got to get the distractions away to really hear what God is giving them, the vision of, okay, this is what you're good at, and this is where I'm going to place you, and I'm going to leave you to figure it out, and I'll be here when you need that extra push, but you got to figure it out. So when you spend that time alone, turn off your phone and stuff like that, and really go inward, your own inwardness is a portal within itself. That is the portal to receive the blessing, the heaven. You came out of your mother's portal, and now you have to go within into your own portal and figure things out. But you can't do it alone. You got to get the guidance from God. A lot of people want to take it upon themselves and try to fight depression alone, and try to fight poverty alone. Excuse me. Try to fight domestic violence alone, or bad relationships by themselves, tragic situations of loss, disrespectful children. All of that is not meant to be battled alone, because if you haven't created your heaven yet, it is going to be a mission to try to figure out, why is this happening to me? One is because your guidance system is all out of whack, so you got to first get that on track, then find yourself, then get the confidence enough to know, I am in the purpose-driven creation mode. So yes, there will be obstacles to come, but I'm going to stay in the purpose-driven mode until I get to where I need to be. And it doesn't mean lopsided behavior. Don't focus on the almighty dollar 24/7. Focus on a holistic creation of heaven. What does your heaven look like? Does it look like you're cursing people out every day? No. That's creating hell. If it looks like what it needs to be, that's where your thought patterns need to be. It's going to be good and bad days. I'm not saying every day is going to be, but you should be thinking of it like that. Because like I said, when I was over here a couple weeks, every day thinking about the stress, thinking about how, I got my feelings hurt, like why this happened to me, am I not blessed? Like these thoughts go through your mind, right? But look, when you get a quick awakening and something worse happens, what happened? You realize, oh wow, I could have recreated my situation. I could do this all over again. I could do this, you know what I mean? Like, if you still got breath of life in you, I don't care if you don't got no legs, no arms, no hair, no nothing. If you still got the breath of life in you, you can create some shit. I see people with no legs creating a whole empire for themselves, running marathons for themselves. So we don't want to hear the excuses. We don't want to hear the excuses no more. Life has beat us down enough with excuses. Excuses is based off of what? Fear. We've been inbreded, indoctrinated, brainwashed, beaten, boggled down with a lot of fear tactics. They ain't going nowhere. They challenged God in heaven. The angels came together and it was a whole clash of the titans up there. The thunders was roaring. War, spiritual war. If they can try to challenge God, the creator, you don't think they're going to deal with you that type of way, even worse? So you got to get to that point where nothing breaks you. I know it's hard, but it's doable. That's what your heaven's going to look like. Unbreakable, stable, stability, foundation. What's the first thing that was created to even make the earth? Foundation. And that's what's going to lead your generation to come. You're not only just doing this for yourself. You're doing this for the generations to come. Not even just your children, but the people, the creation. This is not all just in vain. Everything has a purpose. Even down to the minute ant. Everything is purposeful. So let me end there, because I got to focus on this road. I've been driving through this thunderstorm. I should get to Georgia in the next couple hours. And then I'm going to try to do 2 more hours of driving after that, and then shut it down, take a quick nap, and then do it again. But like I said, I'm not going to let this little situation, throw me off. It's just something that happened, but I'm still focused on the big prize. You see what I'm saying? And I got schoolwork to do. I got to listen to some more of my audio school book. I'm gonna watch it for listen to it for a couple hours, but I'm literally surviving off for like 4.5 hours of sleep. I can make it. I'm a big girl. But what got me to talking about this is the same thing happened to my oldest daughter. I got an older daughter. She's 31. And she had a situation where she had a scare a couple of days ago. I don't want to tell what it was, but it had her feeling some type of way, like she was going to have to just give it all up. Like all the work she did and all the investment. I was like, breathe, calm down. It ain't over until the fat lady sing. Something is going to give. Just because she had like, I think like 4 days to figure it out. But I was like, it ain't the 4th day yet. And even on the 4th day, sometimes stuff come through. And then even if some things don't always come through, it doesn't mean that God is punishing you. It doesn't mean that, nobody loves you or it's always going to be bad. It's just sometimes bad things happen. And it's just going to make you figure out a better way to do it next time. You see what I'm saying? It could have been a mistake on your part, or it could have been some malicious person sending bad juju your way. That's nothing. There's a lot of people out here, if they see you doing it, you ain't got to have a pot to piss in or a cup to throw it out, right? How you say, a window to throw it out. They will still hate on you because you believe in yourself. Just the fact of you thinking about believing in yourself. You could have a dream and say, in my dream, I dreamt that I won $1.5 million and I feel it's going to come through for me. And somebody will hate on that dream. Because you have people that don't know how to create their own portals, their own paradise. So they want to come leech off of your paradise. Just understand, that's just what it is. This world, this universe, it was created with more than just our beings and our souls. So we're fighting literally for the throne. We're fighting for this throne. But when you're around like-minded people, bless them. Y'all pour into each other's cup. You're gonna know the people by the fruits of their tree, the fruits that they bear. When they showing you crazy signs, deuces. I'm not finna sit up here and pour energy into a narcissist. I'm not finna sit up here and pour energy while you continue to take away minds. We're not doing that. But if you're on the same type of time of recreating heaven, whether it's a different type of heaven than mine, more power to you. May the blessings of Allah pour upon you abundantly. Okay? And that's how we're supposed to be, not just for the Christians or for the Muslims, but for the people that get it. We don't got too many people that pour into each other because we all want to be subsected and dissected and divide. Just a hot, stinking mess. And all we do is continue to keep creating more and more hell. It's too much hell on this planet. The karma that's coming from the things you do is just going to be a recreation of the same shit. I'm tired of seeing this consistent generational curse. I had to break it with my children because my other family members continue to just want to recreate the bullshit. Oh, I had meant to do an update on my mom. I'm going to do that on the next video. I'm a little tired now. But yeah, so my daughter was upset about something that happened. And then we got to talking. And everything worked out like the 2 days later. It just, miraculously, things just went into motion the way it's supposed to, right? And I was telling her, like, man, I was feeling the same way you felt when this calamity came in my life yesterday. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I lost my documents. But she was telling me that as soon as the calamity came, she wasn't thinking about all the other stuff that happened to her, all the bad things that happened like a month ago. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it's about. Anyways, I got to use the restroom. I'm about to pull over. Love you guys. Stay blessed. Bye.